The car was turned over and slammed into a wall. A woman was trapped. Firefighters quickly arrived at the scene. After observing, they realized that the car could tip over at any moment. They needed to stabilize it as soon as possible. Firefighter Granger suggested using a hose to thread between the car and the wall, then filling the hose with water. This could minimize the chances of any accidents. The team first brought cribbing to place under the car for support. At this moment, the woman became very emotional. Captain Casey did his best to calm her down. The firefighters then brought a 4-inch hose, carefully threading it through the gap, then pulled it out from the other side and began filling it with water. The hose expanded, gradually lifting the car. Meanwhile, other team members worked to secure the opposite side. They used tools to crawl inside and pry open the windshield. Outside, paramedics stood by ready to assist. They pushed over a gurney and placed a seat collar on the woman. She was successfully rescued from the car. The team then worked together to lift her onto the gurney. The rescue operation was successfully completed. A girl had her feet on the dashboard and she was trapped in a car. Just now, a chain reaction car crash occurred on the street. Firefighters quickly arrived at the scene. An injured man hurried over to seek help, saying that his girlfriend's knee had been slammed into her face by the deployed airbag. After an examination by the paramedic, it was found that her nose was broken. Both her eyes were severely injured, and she had an open femur fracture. If she had internal bleeding, her condition would become even more critical. Meanwhile, the car above her kept shaking nonstop. The girl screamed in pain. The paramedic first secured her neck. Now the car above needed to be moved away. Luckily, a tow truck was nearby. The firefighters quickly asked the driver to help, requesting him to stabilize the convertible. Although the man was a bit reluctant, he eventually complied. Just then, Kelly noticed the girl in the first car was feeling unwell. She told the firefighter that the car in front of her had suddenly braked, causing her to hit the brakes, leading to the crash. However, the car in front had already fled the scene. They asked the girl to undergo a checkup first. Meanwhile, the man brought over the tow truck to help. First, they stabilized the convertible, then connected the blue car to the fire truck. Working together, they successfully pulled the blue car off the convertible. They immediately began rescuing the girl. They removed the car door. Then several people worked together to lift her out of the car. Fortunately, the timely rescue saved her life, and she was not in critical condition. She now needed to be rushed to the hospital for treatment. When the firefighters finished the rescue and were about to leave, the tow truck driver asked if there was a bonus for helping. This puzzled the firefighter. However, the story didn't end there. That afternoon, another rear-end collision occurred on the overpass. When the firefighters arrived, they found the tow truck driver from earlier, towing away the accident vehicle. This aroused Kelly's suspicion. They quickly started rescuing the trapped victims at the scene. Upon inquiry, they learned that the cause of the accident was the same as before. Someone had suddenly braked, leading to a rear-end collision. They could open the car roof and successfully rescue the injured. The two accidents that day made them suspicious of the tow truck driver. He coincidentally appeared at both accident scenes with the same cause and the same tow truck, making them sense a big conspiracy. The next day, Kelly found the tow truck driver's address. He discovered the place was filled with scrapped cars from accidents. As he took out his phone to take photos, the tow truck driver noticed and warned him to leave immediately. But Kelly was not intimidated. He even took a photo of the driver with his phone. After returning, he immediately reported it to Chief Bowden. Bowden told him to stay out of the matter to avoid putting his life at risk. They needed to hand the case over to the police as soon as possible. Soon under police investigation, the tow truck driver was successfully apprehended. It turned out that to make profits, he had intentionally caused accidents on the road. Just because the woman was hit by water guns from two boys, she actually called 911, but what was surprising was that when the cop and firefighters arrived, the woman was mysteriously found dead in her own swimming pool. However, there were no signs of a struggle at the scene. How exactly did she die? At this moment, the footprint on the door caught firefighter Buck's attention. He jumped to the conclusion that this was a burglary. He thought they could find the killer based on the footprint, but Sergeant Grant said the footprint was hers, and since the woman was single, the possibility of her being killed by someone close to her was ruled out. Just then, the pile of letters on the table caught everyone's attention again. This was because the recipients were not the woman, but other residents in the neighborhood. It was very likely that she had been snooping on other secrets, which led to her tragic end. Athena decided to visit the neighbors one by one, only realized how hated their victim was. A little girl was selling lemonade at her doorstep, but the woman called 911 claiming she had no business permit. A neighbor Rita who was making sourdough said the woman never missed a chance to ruin others' lives. She even cruelly fed poisoned bread to another neighbor's adorable corgi. If the dog's owner hadn't discovered it in time, the outcome could have been disastrous. Such a neighbor's death was not necessarily a bad thing, although everyone harbored resentment against the woman. Each of them had a perfect alibi. The case fell into confusion once again. That night, Athena casually flipped through the letters and suddenly noticed a name that caught her attention. Investigations revealed it was the woman's neighbor Rita, who had a hidden secret. She was a wanted fugitive. It was likely that the woman had discovered Rita's secret, forcing Rita to silence her. Rita was soon brought back to the police station, and a murder weapon was even found in her house. Just when the truth seemed clear. Rita's words threw the case into confusion once more. The woman did discover Rita's secret, and Rita did use a gun to threaten her. But who would have thought that woman would end up snatching the gun up? In the end, Rita had no choice but to leave. After hearing a gunshot that day, Rita thought the woman had used her gun to kill someone. Afraid of being implicated, she climbed over the wall to check, only to find that the dead person was the woman herself. This made Rita even more panicked. Worried about being exposed, she crawled into the ground hole to retrieve the gun. After much effort, she finally got the gun out. Since Rita's explanation was reasonable and logical, and the gun bore the deceased's broken nail, while Rita's nails were intact, only the woman's nails were broken. Athena soon returned to the pool and simulated the crime scene. When the woman was hit by water guns, she must have tried to use the gun to scare the boys. Most likely she accidentally aimed at herself in the chaos. So the question was, who did the woman see at that time? At this moment, the adorable corgi wandered in. The two suddenly realized the truth, although it was hard to believe. The woman must have seen the corgi, and that's how she accidentally ended her own life. The man opened the armrest and found a bomb inside, but what was even more despairing was, they couldn't stop the truck to escape, because the detonator was connected to the gas pedal. Once the gas was released, the bomb would explode. Just a moment ago, the man was driving suddenly received an unknown call. The caller said there was a bomb in their truck, and the bomb device had been armed, but the couple obviously didn't believe it. After all, they had only seen such scenes in movies, until the caller revealed their identities. The couple's expressions changed instantly. Their son was still in the car. The man opened the armrest and looked inside. Sure enough, he found a bomb, and the sensor on it could monitor the speed of the truck. Once the speed dropped below 55 miles per hour, the bomb would explode. The man hurriedly dialed 911. The cop drove the police car quickly, then released a drone to inspect the bottom of the truck. Sure enough, a bomb was found. Judging by the component part, it was enough to blow the whole truck. But the bomb couldn't be defused by stopping the truck. The man could only maintain the speed. Soon the fire department arrived. They sandwiched the truck in between. The firefighter climbed onto the roof, leapt onto the truck, then removed the rear glass, and pulled the boy out first. Then they drove the ladder, successfully rescuing the boy. Seeing the live broadcast from TV, a firefighter suddenly realized something, hastily called the captain, speculating that it might be a pressure switch bomb. The pressure switch was likely installed on the gas pedal. Sure enough, the man saw a metal bar with springs. As there was not enough freeway left, the wife suggested swapping positions with her husband. Faced with life and death, she wanted to save her husband first. She didn't want to see her husband die in front of her. Time was running out. Under her husband's insistence, the wife finally compromised and was then rescued. The firefighter came up with a plan in haste, using an iron rod to hold down the gas, and quickly rescued the man as well. One firefighter stayed behind. But at this moment, the truck suddenly shook, seeing that it was about to lose control. He leapt and grabbed the ladder directly. At the same time, the truck headed straight for the roadblock ahead, then came to a stop. Seeing that the bomb still hadn't exploded, the firefighters doubted if the bomb was fake. Just as the cop was about to go forward to check, the man was driving. He just glanced at the beautiful woman on the roadside. The next moment, a woman fell from the sky. The man quickly dialed 911. The rescue team arrived. The team checked her injuries. The girl had multiple fractures all over her body. Just as they were preparing to take her to the hospital, the girl kept saying a name.
Where's Michael?
Could this be the person who pushed her down? The team went to the girl's unit. It turns out she wasn't asking for Michael. She was asking about her phone. The captain picked up the phone and looked at it. Only then did he understand the truth of the matter.
Namaste, my lovelies. The possum.
No. What did we just watch?